Hello, this is a walking pup in the life again. Episode 90. 90. It's gonna be 10 episodes until episode 100, and we're gonna have a surprise around Christmas, probably, for episode 100, where we would just recoup all these episodes and just do something with them. I don't want to spoiler too much, otherwise mom would kill me, but this is what it is. Lots of interesting stuff coming to support young entrepreneurs, and very, very, very happy about it. Anyways, the episode of today really relates to something that was something that mom has seen in the past couple of days, where she has had the ability to just get in touch a bit more with the people that happens all the time when we get in touch with people in the organization. I remember that. Scusa, mio amore. Scusa. Remember that sometimes mom is just very, very noisy. I was saying, here at Brandplane, we are a remote organization. So what happens in this type of remote setting is that you need to have people very aligned with the objectives, very, very on point on what you are trying to build, very, very pod committed in what we do. And in general, like this is something that all companies need in the end, but that takes quite some time to develop, especially in a remote organization. And it's not easy to just give out all of this to other people that are not the founders. And this is also the key point of Founders Mode that we already talked about before, but that at the same time just forces us to find a way in the middle of what Founder Mode technically is, so to speak, in what Silicon Valley has been talking about recently. So basically micromanage, and what Founder Mode actually is, which might just be being a bit more present and delegate less. Now, this doesn't mean that you cannot delegate. It means that you usually take shorter time, when in fact it's longer to delegate to people, and for them to have, I don't say the same results as you do, but at least like similar ones. Now, a typical example of that is product demos, but it's not the only one. It's sales processes, it's how to deal with compliance, like it's many other things that all different businesses might have. And I'm sure like many founders on the other side can just say, oh my God, like I have the same problem. It's pretty bad for me. I am not able to just deal with that by myself, so I need another person. But the solution is not to take another person and say, hey, listen, like do it yourself. It's not your co-founder, and incentives are surely not aligned. So what you shall do is spend more time with this person, ideally even in person, but if you cannot, like just spend time with them and just let them enter into company culture, let them enter in how your processes work and exactly how the things are at your company. Because otherwise, you might just be willing to fire these people, but then you're going to rehire somebody else and they'll have the exact same problem. So there are instances in which it happens, and mom just had a conversation a couple of days ago with her co-founder, her partner, and he was like, yeah, but like people should ask me. And sometimes it's true, like you need to ask, but you also need to nudge people into asking and into giving you useful feedback around exactly what there is to be doing and how things are done. And it's not easy because, of course, like it's not easy asking for feedback. It's not easy because you don't see the investment that you're taking. You don't see why you're actually investing such an amount of time into helping out new hires in training, which is not just training, it's like actually spending more time with them and being able to understand that you need to track down things, and not just managers, for example. Because if you then can see a pattern, a behavior, like an action, something that doesn't feel right or can be bettered, you shall find that specific time and place to act now. Like you see it happening and you can then immediately change it. Now, there are many ways for you to do so. It might not be just obvious that you shall change it, but you can. How about you never see that and you don't know because you're waiting for a report from some manager, because you're maybe waiting for the person to show up and say, hey, I had this problem during the demo. What are we going to do? Which is pretty impossible to do. So the idea here is trying and be able to really niche down a bit and understand that you're a freaking startup, especially if you don't have like a huge team of people already. You don't have a huge structure. You know, I don't know, like you're a startup, and as long as you're not like 100 people, but also you have examples of people who run 100 people company or more that still perform such things, it's more value because the CEO needs to do what it needs to be done at that moment. It might be just very useful for you to be there and match everything these people are doing and understand and give advice and whatnot. On the other hand, if they are not good enough and they're not, you don't feel like they're a fit, like you're gonna know. And guess when you're gonna know? You're gonna know when you see them in action. And the whole company will benefit from that. Now, I understand that it doesn't sound sexy, that you have lots of things to do, me included, or actually mom, not me, I'm chief barks officer, so I just bark, and that's what I do. I do this podcast. But again, like, it might just be a very big issue to begin with if you don't do it at first. Because guess what happens if you don't do it with like 10 hires and maybe like even half of them is good? Like, what are you going to do? And you're not going to know for many months. And you're going to ask yourself, why do we have this problem? Why is this happening? And you're not going to know. And then you're going to know. And you will ask yourself, I was very stupid. You will tell yourself, I was very stupid. I didn't see it coming. Now, this goes well also with incentives from people. Like, if you never talk to your people because you guess that other people in the team will do it, and because, I don't know, you have managers because you think it's good that they will work for themselves, which is fine. It's not obvious that everybody works like that for sure at first. And then second, you don't know which are their incentives. You don't know which is the thing that worries them so much. You are not gonna know. And unfortunately, you need to spend time in the trenches because there's not another way to go. And I'm sorry to say this, but this is all there is. And probably this is the actual meaning of founder mode. And it's only going to be part 2 on our take on founder mode for today. Now, hopefully this many things are not the thing that will lead you to just abandon your project and have them fail. But it's a great reminder around everything that's needed to do in your job title, especially as a CEO. You're a CEO, so executive officer. You need to execute. Where? We don't know. It depends on what's needed from the team. And hopefully you'll get to know, because if you don't, you're going to realize at some point that you didn't know, and you need to fix that for sure. So I hope you found this valuable, ranging around 100 episodes, walking, sometimes not walking, sometimes on the sofa, sometimes even driving, sorry, Spotify just left us without our proper stack to record the podcast. But we will do our best and maybe hopefully grow up until we get a decent setup for the walking podcast. But for now, done is better than perfect. And we like it done. So founders mode, hands on. I will send you kisses, hugs, and a bit of marks. Bye.